Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Minal. Welcome to Learn, Teach, Grow. This channel is all about providing parents with parenting hacks, great tips for how to play with toys, as well as info on child development. So today I wanted to talk about social emotional skills. You know, the first year of life is so important in developing those social emotional skills. Social emotional skills can be defined as managing emotions, building healthy relationships, and building empathy. All the necessary skills to build friendships, confidence, coping, and understanding how to manage in a society at large. As an OT, I'm often brought in to work with a family when a child is having self-harming tantrums or tantrums that last for very long periods of time. Other times, it might be because a child is having difficulty socializing at a daycare or childcare or preschool setting. Sometimes they're pushing, sometimes they have difficulty with understanding how to ask or use their communication skills to be able to work in a group environment. Those are just two examples of why an OT would be brought in to work on social emotional skills, and we would work on strengthening those skills. So in order to understand how to help a child build social emotional skills, it's important to understand how these skills are learned. From the time of birth, our babies are learning. They're learning from the experiences they're having from how someone is holding them or feeding them or snuggling them. All of it is feedback. And that's why it is so important to engage your child from an early age. I love encouraging my families to start as early as possible from birth and so importantly through that first year and beyond. Take moments when your child is awake. You know, that first few months, they sleep so much of the time. But take the times when they are awake to really do a lot of face-to-face interaction. You know, whether you're cradling them in a baby hold like this, or my favorite, especially at those younger ages, is to cradle them in my hands with their head in the palm of my hands and their body laying. And so we're getting great face-to-face and they are watching what my mouth is doing and what I'm saying to them. Make cooing noises. Make silly faces. Open and close your mouth in an exaggerated fashion. Use baby talk like the ba ba ba's and the ma ma ma's and the da da da's, but really exaggerate them and slow them down. So it might be ma ma ma, and then wait for a few seconds, and then you can repeat it. It takes babies a little bit of time. Same thing by making raspberries. Just give them time to react and respond. And by the time your child is about 3 or 4 months, you are going to see them responding and reacting to you. And they're going to want more, and the giggles are amazing. So narrate what you are doing throughout the day. So whether that's making a bottle for them, you might say, Mama's making a bottle for you right now, or Grandma's coming to visit, or it's time to go take a nap. You want to share that with them so that they are starting to understand routines of the day and they're hearing the language, even if they don't quite understand it yet. And it also will help to build a great skill for you as well as the routine for you to narrate your day with them, okay? And it might feel weird at first, but you get used to it and your child really is taking it all in. The same thing with reading books and looking at pictures of the family. Point to the people, point to things in books. You don't have to read all the words. You can read the book if you like, but you can really just point to the pictures. That interaction is really helping them starting to understand not only the social aspect of it, but it's also helping them with language. And when they no longer like to be held in your arms, you can use that bouncy seat or the swing to do the same kinds of interactive play. And you can also use that belly time when they're laying on their belly for you to lay on the floor and get right into their face and they can watch your face, okay? You truly are their most favorite person right now. And as a mom of 2 teenage boys, that really doesn't last forever. So take advantage of it now while you can. When they are transitioning into their toddler years, keep up the narration of your day, read the books, and keep up the eye contact with games such as peekaboo, horseplay, swinging your child in your arms or at the park in a swing, in one of those bucket swings. And you don't have to push them from behind. I like to tell my families, stand in front of them and you can push the swing in front because you're not pushing them so high when they're so young anyway. But being at the park, being out in the community, going to the supermarket or to the store is all going to be really helpful in building those skills of socialization. So they have that opportunity to be able to see other people, get to start to learn how to wave, watch other people wave to them, learn how to say hi. All of that is wonderful for their interaction, and it'll teach them to start responding. You can also start labeling their feelings. So whether they're happy, sad, tired, frustrated, you want to share that with them. You want to have them start to identify when they're feeling that way. If they're smiling and jumping up and down, you can say, "Oh, I see you're happy." Or if they're sad, you can express, "Oh, I'm sorry, I see that you're sad." You want to honor their feelings, but it's also important for them to understand boundaries and limits. And there are many different schools of thought on this. My experience has shown me and told me that it's really important to honor the boundary as well as honor their feelings. So it helps them build routines. It helps them understand how to be able to operate when all of the routines don't revolve around their own personal routine, like getting ready for school and things like that. Okay? But this is also when you start to see tantrums kicking in. And while tantrums are a normal part of development, understand that it is just the way that your child is learning to communicate. It's a form of communication. And what's most important is to really look at what the child is trying to communicate to you through that tantrum. And I like to allow the kids to go through the tantrum first before addressing the tantrum. As long as they're safe and they're not hurting themselves or others, I allow them to wait until they're calm before we address what the issue was, okay? So for example, if playtime is coming to an end because it's going to be nap time, you can warn your child, okay, playtime is going to be over and it's going to be time for nap. You can set a timer. Some people just use the timer on their phone. Others like to use an app where there might be a picture and then the clock covers it and then the timer counts down and you see the picture reveal itself. I like to use counting because it's something they understand at that age. You know, kids don't understand 1 more minute or 5 more minutes. That's too loose of a parameter for them. Counting is something they hear all the time and it makes it very concrete for them. So I might say, okay, when I count to 10, playtime is all done and it's time for a nap. And then I also couple that with the cleanup song. I like to use the good old Barney song, but you could use whatever song you prefer, or you can make up your own. I really find that coupling a cleanup song with the end of a task really helps to create a anchor for that child. And so next time when they hear that cleanup song, they automatically learn that that's how I have to clean up. And your child will start to clean up. I promise you that when you keep doing that over and over. Now, it's not uncommon that a child might have a tantrum at that time, and it's okay to recognize, okay, I understand you want to play more and you're disappointed, but we can play again after nap. Right now, it is time to clean up, and let's clean up together. You can ask what they would like to play with after nap as a great way to be able to get them to focus on what's to come instead of worrying about what they're losing out on right now. And you can also share, okay, let's choose a book to read before nap time so it gets them to be redirected to a different activity, okay? And it still helps you maintain the boundary of this is what we're doing next, while still creating a supportive environment that still honors their feelings. These moments build coping skills, which helps to reduce frustration as well as building resilience. Lastly, I want to touch on social skills. Children don't normally initiate cooperative organized play until closer to about 4 years old, but that doesn't mean you can't start teaching them the skills they need to be successful in these interactions. You can start to introduce turn taking as early as 2.5 years old through simple games like rolling a ball or a car back and forth, cooking together. Introduce it into your normal daily routines. Take a whisk and you're mixing something, and then you can give your toddler a chance to say, okay, now you can have a turn, and they can mix it with your help or supervision. Simple games such as Pop-Up Pirate or Pop the Pig, Jumping Jack, or Barnyard Bingo are all great ways to start teaching turn taking, and they're very easy, simple games, and I'll include those names of the games in the description below. Now, when it comes to having play dates, pay attention to your child's temperament. Are they a child who thrives in larger groups, or do they prefer smaller groups or one-on-one play? Do you like to do they like to play with a child that's very active or more quiet? You want to also look at your child's temperament. And many times I find that we arrange play dates based upon whether we like the mom and we want to hang out with the mother. But pay attention to how your child interacts with their child and whether they're getting along. They'll let you know if they don't like hanging out with that child in verbal and nonverbal ways. And if you find that they are getting overwhelmed by the other child's energy, you can recommend a park date or set up a more structured activity that you can be more hands-on with, and they'll have to do more supervised play. And if neither of these seem feasible, you can easily say to that mom that you really like, hey, can we just go for coffee, you and I? Okay? I found that that was the best way for me to be able to still honor my kids' interests and understand their temperament, but still also get my time with other people. Remember, your child will learn their cues from you. They're responding to your emotional state and are in tune with your feelings more than you realize. So try your best to stay calm, anticipate instead of react, and when it all goes out the window and you find yourself screaming, like I certainly did, give yourself grace and start again. You got this. If you enjoyed the content today, please consider liking, subscribing. It would really mean the world to me. And I look forward to seeing you again.